Welcome to TMZ Live. It is a huge day in New York City, and not just for NBA fans. Obviously, you know, Game 3 of the NBA Finals going to be tonight, the Knicks against the Spurs. And you've probably been seeing for days how New York City is going crazy for the Knicks. They've added another element now that is really changing things for tens of thousands of people. And that is the fact that President Trump is going to be there. And he is, they have already had to wall off the Garden. Everything has changed about this game because of the president's presence there. And the security is crazy. Those fences we normally see, we used to see those around D.C. back in 2020, you probably remember, when they were trying to protect the White House. Now they've got them around Madison Square Garden, and they have specific rules. The NYPD, Secret Service, Madison Square Garden security are at the highest level right now because of the president's presence. And it means that fans who are showing up, who are paying tens of thousands of dollars in some cases to go to this game, have to be there 2 hours before the game. Wow. What does this mean for the fans? What does this mean for the team? And what is it going to mean for the Secret Service? We're about to be joined by someone who understands what it is like to protect a president in this environment. But before we get to that, Stephen A. Smith said something this morning about the president showing up. And he's speaking from the standpoint of a fan, but he's also speaking from the standpoint of just a New Yorker, I think. Here's what he had to say.
This president has no business showing up in New York City. I am dead serious. It is selfish. It is narcissistic. It is ridiculous that he is coming to this game. I would say the same thing if it were Obama, George W., Clinton. I don't give a damn. We went back to Reagan. This is not a football stadium in some space in Texas where you got a whole bunch of outlays and all of this. This is the Garden. This is Midtown Manhattan. You have any idea what the congestion is going to be like in New York City here? If they lose tonight, I'm looking right at him. I'm saying it. This is just me. I'm blaming him. I'm blaming the president of the United States of America if the New York Knicks lose this tonight.
Okay, that last part is definitely a fan going a little overboard. That won't be the reason if the Knicks should lose. I hope they don't. But, you know, you think about everything he just said about the president going. It just seems like not a very rational decision just from the standpoint of protecting the president in an arena with 20,000 people, not to mention the millions of people outside, and what is going to take to protect him. So joining us right now, someone who has more than 20 years in the Secret Service, is now retired, protected Presidents Bush, Obama, and Trump. And he is joining us now to talk about this huge effort they are undergoing today. His name is Paul Elkoff. Paul, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thanks for having me. I would say that I respect the heck out of Stephen, and I'm thankful that he's not blaming the Secret Service if the Knicks lose. So that's a win for us.
So in all seriousness, though, Paul, there was a press conference this morning where the police and the Secret Service talked about how the Garden was going to be, how procedures are going to be different for entering and exiting, and telling everyone to get there 2 hours early. Even with all of that, once you have the president in the arena, how does this change for Secret Service, and how many agents roughly is it going to take to protect the president in that environment?
I'm not going to address specific numbers, but I would say what's interesting about Madison Square Garden is it does represent one of the most complicated security tasks that the Secret Service could undertake. That being said, this is just another Monday, and there's no better place in the world to do it in the capable hands of the NYPD, who hosts every major leader in the world every September for the UN. What makes this daunting, not just central in the busiest and potentially most important city in the world, you have infrastructure surrounding it, whether it's airspace, deep underground with trains at the neighboring train hall. And a lot of the considerations that you see for major sporting events or NSSEs like the State of the Union are going to have to be put into play. Because while I don't think that a realistic attack on the president and his specific person is likely, given the hundreds of layers of security and potentially thousands of personnel that'll be there. But the crowd could be in danger, and there could be events on the periphery that are done to incite terror or mayhem and cause problems.
So that's absolutely a good point, Paul, that it becomes, a risk for everyone involved. So to that point, if you were on the Secret Service, if you were the head of the Secret Service, is there even room for conversation with the president about whether or not this is a good idea to go? Or is it just, if he's going, that's it? Does anybody try to say, maybe we sit this one out?
There are always conversations of those type, and it's a give and take between the staff and the Secret Service. That being said, the Secret Service never has the luxury of choosing whom to protect or where. The public elects the president that they choose to represent them, and the president and his staff choose to where they need to go. That being said, I'm an American first, and I was a Secret Service agent second. And Secret Service agents are sworn not just to protect the life of the President of the United States and the continuity of the presidency, but democracy itself and the Constitution. And the free society in which we live, I'd like to think a president can choose to attend a sporting event no matter the level.
It is interesting, though, Paul, that a president has never been to an NBA Finals game. I don't know if that's a decision that was made based on interest in the game or security, but it is interesting that it's never happened before. We've seen presidents at Super Bowls and other major events, college national championships, but never at an NBA Finals. And I just think that's really interesting from a security standpoint. If you were on the Secret Service, would you have a preference? And we don't know where the president's going to be seated. We know he's been invited by the owner, James Dolan, who does sit down by the court. If you had a preference, is it better to, I would think you'd want the president in a luxury box, not out on the floor?
The Secret Service's preference would be like you see at the Super Bowl or the NCAA football championship, in a luxury box behind additional ballistic assets, glass, like the things you see at inauguration. But once again, they're going to have to balance the security they have in the building and the access and motion around the protectee and others, because it's not just the president who travels. A few members of his cabinet may be there. There'll be family members. There'll be other VIPs and dignitaries that will require intense coordination. If the Secret Service has its choice, it would be behind ballistic glass. And I have no special knowledge that he won't be. But if he sits courtside, that does represent challenges. Way less than if he were to throw out the first pitch at a baseball game, because it is a covered, closed venue,
right,
which provides a shorter distance and better capability to protect him.
You know what I was just thinking about, Paul, just before we let you go, there is some, they've had some practice with this in that the president goes to a lot of UFC matches, which are typically in arenas roughly about the size of Madison Square Garden. And he typically does sit down by the side of the octagon. So I guess they have had experience in protecting him in these environments. How would tonight be any different from those events?
Essentially, it wouldn't. What's important in those events also is that the president has a safe, secure egress route, because the Secret Service plans for when everything falls apart, not just the security of the event, but when things fail. So they're going to need a separate and secure egress route for him and other assets, and also not to impede the public's egress should they need it. But he sat courtside or ringside for UFC. This is particularly similar to that. And you just kind of control things in layers. You have an inner perimeter and middle perimeters and growing outward to the outside. But it certainly can be secured. But it is a logistical nightmare for the Secret Service, but something that no other agency in the world is capable of completing successfully.
All right. Well, it's going to be very interesting to watch sort of the game next to the game that people will be watching tonight at Madison Square Garden, actually starting this afternoon, since everybody has to get there so early. Paul, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate your insight.
Thank you, sir.
Well, no offense to the New York Knicks, the San Antonio Spurs, or President Trump, but Madison Square Garden might be more famous right now to tens of thousands, if not millions, of Taylor Swift fans who are not thinking about a basketball game going on there. But the news that we broke on Friday that 1,200, roughly, of Taylor and Travis Kelce's friends are going to be there at the Garden for her wedding. This is crazy. We've been wondering how big the wedding was going to be. And we thought, is it going to be somewhere in like 250 to 300 to like 600 people? Way off. They are going for a mega wedding at Madison Square Garden on July 3rd. That's the word that we have now. So I didn't, by the way, just to give you a little context, 1,200 people would be way more, I think twice as much as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle had at the last big royal wedding that we went to. And yeah, that's pretty huge. Now, as for security, which we just talked about for the game tonight, there is going to be security. Obviously, we're told that Taylor and Travis are going to be hiring a lot of private security to help, but obviously NYPD is going to be involved in this. And now, last week when the commissioner, NYPD commissioner, was talking about all the big events they have coming up, the finals, World Cup, all these things that New York City is going to have to, be protecting people. She made a joke. She's like, plus Taylor Swift's wedding. And then she said, oh, I was just kidding, of course.
And what's interesting is
she wasn't kidding.
We've spoken to police sources well inside the NYPD who work in that area, like to cover that precinct, and they're like, listen, we haven't heard anything about it, but again, Taylor Swift is a big name. It's probably something they're going to keep under wraps
they would
until
keep under
the
wraps
11th hour.
Right.
It is interesting, though, Madison Square Garden, just because, as we reported last week, we knew it was going down in the heart of Manhattan.
Right.
But for someone as big as her, you would almost think the commotion that this is going to cause is almost like what we're going to see outside, like the stadium tonight with the Knicks.
I guess the difference is there's 20,000 people showing up for tonight's game. This is going to be a relatively exclusive guest
wedding.
list of 1,000. Although, think about 1,000 people.
I don't know.
What if you don't get on that list? What if you're not invited and they're having more than 1,000 guests?
Yeah.
It's got to sting a little bit.
Also, what do you buy someone like Taylor Swift? Like, what do you bring for a wedding? I guess most people would do,
I don't think it's a concern. I don't think they're worried about people showing up with
Madison
gifts or
Square
envelopes.
Garden.
Yeah, different kind of event.
Coming up.
Former Love Islander Huda Mustafa did something that, previous to what we're about to show you, had just been alleged that she snuck into an apartment building so she could get closer to and harass, allegedly, the baby mama of her then boyfriend.
Be right back.
Former Love Islander Huda Mustafa did something that, previous to what we're about to show you, had just been alleged that she snuck into an apartment building so she could get closer to and harass, allegedly, the baby mama of her then boyfriend. So follow along here. Huda was dating this guy, Louis, and Louis had a baby with another woman named Nicole. And this security video that we obtained shows Huda sneaking into the parking garage, waiting until another car went through. The gate is coming down, and she sneaks under Mission Impossible style. This was back in February, and then you see other cameras show her walking through the parking garage, very calmly, probably heading toward Nicole's apartment. Now, Nicole had alleged all of this when she went to get a restraining order against Huda. Not shockingly, she was trying to get a restraining order. And it was, she did get one. She was granted a temporary restraining order. The odd thing is that restraining order has now been thrown out despite the fact that there is this video evidence. And it's basically because Nicole, I don't understand this, but she didn't follow through.
You got to show up. So there's a hearing after you get a temporary restraining order. You go in to try to get what's called a permanent, but it's usually anywhere between 3 and 5 years. And you have to show up and you have to present your evidence and convince the judge that this should be longer than just that temporary
restraining order. And when you have
order.
this kind of evidence,
she had the goods.
Right, you've got her dead to rights. There's no reason for Huda to be going into this building, and especially, it's so obvious because she could have gone much sooner.
Oh, definitely, but she almost has to barrel roll under that closing gate.
Maybe she didn't realize that the gate was going to come down, and she thought she had time, but
she clears it though.
Once it starts closing,
the thing that's going on here,
She should have just done a full slide.
She should have just slid under, like, entrapment's out. But listen, the thing that's going on here is I think Louis has broken up with Huda. So the immediacy of her being upset with Louis' ex, who is the baby mama's, whose apartment complex, is probably gone at this point, unless she's trying to get back with him or something. The sort of love triangle aspect of this is maybe in the past, and so she didn't want to go to court or pay for lawyers to go pursue this.
Also, why wouldn't, I mean, if Louis saw this video, and I don't know, I have any reason to know if he did, that would be a pretty good reason to break up with Huda.
It's a little bit of a red flag to some people, but look, it's kind of exciting too. A little bit of this passion. There's a blurry line between passion.
That your girlfriend is going after the mother of your child, that she would just show up unannounced at her door. You think that's exciting?
But she's also very limber and able to get under, like, garage doors that are
Look at her
closing.
athletic
That's
ability,
like, listen,
yeah.
that's someone who's really into you.
Yes,
it can
definitely
curdle
into you. Definitely into you, but there's such a thing as into you too much.
This is true. It can curdle into a pathology. But listen, nobody was hurt. Nobody was hurt.
Nobody was hurt, but yes, as you said, Louis and Huda have broken up. We don't know if Louis and Nicole are back together, but yes, the kid is shielded from this at this point, which is what Louis is got to be happy about.
I would think so.
Hi, my name is Alyssa, and I'm from Chicago. When it comes down to the Huda situation, she's always been a special case, but I do find it quite odd that they did drop the case against her. I felt like she should have kept the case going because clearly Huda thinks that she's still in the villa and she thinks breaking and entering can get her a chat, but that's not the case. And I don't know. I just think it's a very touchy situation. I feel like the mom doesn't probably want to pursue the case because Huda is the mom as well. But you can ignore all the hate comments you want in your comments, but if they decide to pursue the issue, she cannot avoid the judge. And she made sure to show her level of athleticism the way she went underneath that gate.
I wish they kept going with the case just so Huda could show up and have some explanation, an excuse to the judge for why she was doing this. I would love just to hear creatively what she could come up with. Well, Savannah Guthrie answered a question that I think a lot of Today Show viewers, a lot of people who followed her, was people who were following her every word during the search for her mother. The question everyone has asked since she's gone back to the Today Show is, how do you do this? How do you show up when it's very clear that she is still very much in mourning, very, upset about the fact they never solved this? She posted this weekend I believe it's some scripture. I don't know the Bible verse, but she posted this, and it is heartbreaking. It says, "Oh my soul, it cries out. Soul, it cries out." And at the bottom, she said, "Bring her home." So she's clearly still very much dealing with her mother's disappearance, and yet showing up for work every day. And this is how she explained it to Jenna when they discussed it today on the Today Show.
It's really hard to come back, and I've been trying so hard to hold it together, and I promise I will. This show and this hour especially is like about joy, but having you and all everyone at the people behind the scenes, people in my ear, the producers, our castmates, it's like, when I see you in the morning, I know that you see me no matter what is going on. And sometimes it's almost too much because I feel like to do the job, I gotta keep it together, pull it together, I cry every morning on the way to work and I cry every morning on the way home. And I'm grateful to have good friends and to be able to come to such a beautiful and joyous and supportive place.
It was a very real moment on television. Everyone has been wondering how she's gonna carry on. I think that, everyone deals with loss in life. People lose family members and they have to keep working. And
So I think some people think that, well, it's been a while and she's probably getting better, but to hear hear her say she cries on the way in and on the way home,
it's a lot.
She's still
dealing
clearly
with,
going through it, but it does sound like work is a necessary distraction for her.
She has to, continue to live her life, as her mom is still missing. But it's still heavy on her.
Hi, Tina from Chicago. I think it's incredibly inspiring what she's going through. Having just lost my father back in February and still having to live life like normal has been a challenge for me, and I have the closure I need. So the fact that she's still out there doing the dang thing without the closure and in the public eye, it's incredibly inspiring to see.
Yeah, I don't know how she's doing it. I think while she clearly, and I don't, maybe she was trying to address, they get those questions sent into the Today Show every day, I don't know that people are going to understand it any better. It still feels like, especially hearing how much pain she's still in, I think you still have the question, how in the world is she doing this?
Coming up.
Things have changed dramatically for Spencer Pratt in his effort to become the next mayor of Los Angeles. President Trump certainly insinuated, at the very least, that something is afoot.
4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it.
That's how they count
You know
the
why they're
votes in
doing that? Because
California.
they're cheating on the election.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
Donnell Rawlings took TMZ DC on a city tour.
You know what the irony of this is? A black man takes a white person to the White House.
It's TMZ.
Things have changed dramatically for Spencer Pratt in his effort to become the next mayor of Los Angeles. You know, all of last week, the primary was on Tuesday, and ballots have been still being counted. Spencer was in second place, which meant that he would be in the runoff come November against incumbent Mayor Karen Bass. Well, over the weekend, as they continued to count ballots, it flipped. And now Spencer Pratt is third and Nithya Raman is in second place. This means that Spencer's political career could be over if it continues. Now, there's still, I think, right now, I think there's still more than 15% of the ballots that have to be counted, but it's close enough between Spencer and Nithya that it could flip around again. We just don't know. Spencer certainly seems to feel like something's up, and while he hasn't gone so far as to say the election is rigged, he said this, a net swing of more than 43,000 votes for Nithya since Tuesday. 43,000, huh? Where have I seen that number before? Probably nothing. And then included a link to an article about that says there are 43,000 homeless people in LA City. So, yeah, I think it's pretty clear what he's saying there. Now, he didn't say that the election was stolen.
No.
However, President Trump certainly insinuated, at the very least, that something is afoot with the LA mayor race.
The election was rigged. It was a dirty election.
Mr.
And it's
President,
happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence.
It's happening
that the
right
2020
now in
election
California.
was rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's happening in California.
Where's the evidence to that?
It's
the
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. It's no, they're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days, and they aren't even close to coming up with it.
That's how they count
You know
the
why they're
votes in
doing that?
California.
Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
All I
that?
have to do is look.
So, as you probably heard over the weekend, the president stormed out of that interview very shortly after that, just saying, there's nothing to talk about here. It's rigged, and you don't want to believe me that it's rigged, so I'm leaving.
Right.
I think that's going to start a lot of conversation, and you already see Spencer sort of.
Right. Yeah, let's be honest. He didn't say the word fraud. He didn't say stolen election, but come on. When you point to the amount of people in Skid Row and the votes that came, I mean, it kind of connected dots.
You can kind of see what he's saying.
I think the thing, we need to fix this, Charles, because it invites people to come up with these conspiracy theories.
The fact that it takes so long to count ballots.
It's 2026. Right. We've got to have a better way to do this by now. Like you said, the fact that we still got 15% of the vote outstanding and it's a week after Election Day, there's got to be a better way, bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, it does. It's weird. I mean, on the one hand, you want to say, yes, they're counting the ballots. They're taking the time to count the ballots.
And each one should be counted.
By the way, Spencer also posted a thing from A Beautiful Mind where he said, me trying to figure out how votes get counted in LA. Well, the reality is they get counted like they get counted anywhere else. It's just that it takes much longer because they allow you to vote by mail up until as long as postmarked on Election Day.
I think the bottom line, Charles, is that the Republicans or the conservatives, they have no faith in the people that run the elections in Los Angeles. They feel like they're so far left and they're not getting a fair shake here. And I think, I'm not saying that's what's happening, but that's what they think. And I actually believe that they think that this election has been stolen.
Now, the only thing where that conspiracy theory falls apart is that there's no way, who's behind the conspiracy, I guess, is right. And their rationale would be that the Democrats are behind this, right?
Yep.
Well, the Democrats wouldn't want Nithya Raman to run against Karen Bass.
Right,
They
they
want
want-
Spencer Pratt.
Right.
Because the reality is that in Los Angeles, a very democratic city, Spencer Pratt probably isn't going to beat Karen Bass, who has the backing of the Democratic
agreed.
Party, right?
Agreed.
So now if you have Nithya Raman, she's also a Democrat.
Yeah.
Well, now you've got Democrat on Democrat.
Right.
And Mayor Bass suddenly doesn't, it's
Right,
not a
she could
shoo-in
lose
to
that.
return.
Right. Well, you could.
So then
devil's
who's behind the
But
conspiracy?
devil's advocate, you say this way, you got a Democrat no matter what. Is there a long shot that maybe Spencer could have somehow, some way won? Maybe. I think too, long shot.
So who's behind the conspiracy?
Right. The Democrats.
It doesn't make any sense.
Hi, Teresa Ruth Howard here, and here's my take. I feel like when we ask who does it benefit, I mean, who does it benefit for it to be stolen? I mean, I get it. Trump is triggered. It's history repeating itself for him. And we have a privileged, unqualified white man who's running for office that somehow everybody is supposed to believe that Angelians will vote for. But I don't believe it. I think that that it works to create this divisiveness and question democracy.
Yeah, I mean, that is the longer it takes to count these ballots, and I don't know if they have a projected day that it's going to be done, but the longer it takes, the more you allow conspiracy theories to creep in. And so for that reason alone, it would be great if they could figure out a way to do it faster than this. But yeah, this conspiracy theory makes no sense.
Coming up.
This was a huge weekend for Lewis Hamilton and Kim Kardashian. Lewis, because he was racing in the F1 Grand Prix in Monaco, and Kim, because she was there. I'm sure it's not her first time at the Monaco Grand Prix, but first time there when she's dating someone who's racing in it, and by the way, did very well.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. This was a huge weekend for Lewis Hamilton and Kim Kardashian. Lewis, because he was racing in the F1 Grand Prix in Monaco, and Kim, because she was there. I'm sure it's not her first time at the Monaco Grand Prix, but first time there when she's dating someone who's racing in it, and by the way, did very well. His best finish of the year, Lewis Hamilton came in second. So why was there so much focus on Kim and people criticizing her for her appearance at the race? It has to do with a reporter for Sky TV in the UK, Martin Brundle. Martin famously walks around the garage area before races and talks to other drivers, talks to celebrities. But when he got to Kim Kardashian, kind of got a Heisman.
Kim, Martin Brundle, Sky F1. How are you today? Yes. No, don't. You don't need to push me, mate. Yeah, normally people will have a quick chat with us. Are you enjoying F1? Yeah. Okay, Kim and Chloe. So we're not talking today.
What? I mean, she's standing right there looking at the man.
Brutal.
Like, and you could hear him say, "Sir, you don't have to push me." Somebody was pushing him. But
so F1 fans are obviously extremely passionate. I know it's a massive sport, especially outside the United States.
Yes.
But the problem is that
her boyfriend is the most popular driver.
Correct, but
right?
but for those outside of the bubble of F1, people don't really know who this Martin Brundle guy is.
Do you think Kim Kardashian, you consider her outside of the bubble of F1?
Well, now she's in the bubble, but this isn't the first time this happens. Every time U.S. celebrities interact with this guy or not interact, they get blasted. So I looked it up. It happened with Brad Pitt in 2022, a very similar interaction. Cara Delevingne, another massive celebrity.
Why
she got,
wouldn't you?
She got killed online.
What does it take to just? He's clearly talking to you. You're looking right at him to just say, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, I mean, she could
Great day.
She could have talked to him, but like the fact
and
of
then
like,
be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, you got to go." We're like, and walk
all
away.
the F1 fans like up in arms, like she made this huge
because
sin because she didn't talk to a reporter.
Because she is there as the girlfriend of the most popular driver on the grid. So you can't show up and like act like you're bigger than than F1.
I mean, I get that, but it's just, I just feel like it's a little crazy. You almost didn't even know the guy's name. You stumbled over the guy's name.
But you're right. I don't know his name, but I know who he is. If I were at an F1 race and he walked up and I saw the Sky TV mic, I'd be like, oh, that's the guy.
And then probably would keep walking, but that's neither here nor there.
Lewis, by the way, did have give Kim a shout out. A reporter asked what it meant to have her there supporting him for the Monaco race.
It's amazing to have her come this weekend and have the support. But, with my friends, an incredible turnout just overall with people. And, I don't really know what else to say. It's amazing to have good people around you and good people supporting you. And she does that for me every day.
She does that for me every day. By the way,
these guys are in love.
Okay, Devin. So you think that she's just like normal celebrity?
No, I don't think she's a normal
who didn't
celebrity.
recognize Martin Brundle. But what happens when a driver wins an F1 race? You know what happens, right? There's a champagne.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've
the
seen
champagne
that,
bath
yeah.
and everything. So you think Kim would know that, right?
Did she not?
Well, she certainly acted like she's like, I don't want any. What are you talking? Why are they shielding her? She should want to be soaked by the
Kim
champagne.
Kardashian, dude. This is
oh my God, an umbrella goes up.
This is exactly what you would expect.
And an umbrella goes
What
up.
we're not showing is I'm pretty sure he blew a kiss to her when he was on the podium. Like this dude is head over heels for her. I don't think he cares if she knows the ins and outs of F1.
Take the champagne shower, Kim. Come on, show support.
Abby from Canada. I think that Kim did great, honestly. She probably doesn't know that much about F1. She's just there to support her boyfriend. And I think
but hold on, if she's supporting her boyfriend, he is F1.
The reporter should be talking to her famous F1 boyfriend, not her. That's all I have to say. It just doesn't make sense. And honestly, with the champagne showers, pulling out an umbrella at that time was administering medicine after death, but at least she took it like a champ. And we didn't get another Kim, there's people that are dying moment.
I don't know that she took it like a champ. I think she was running away with people covering her. But yeah, she'll be used to it the next time. Heated rivalry star Hudson Williams had something from his past come back to haunt him this weekend. A photo from his high school days, a couple of photos that have surfaced online that show him with Sharpie markings all over his face. But the part that everyone zeroed in on, understandably, is the fact that there was a swastika among those markings on his face. Now, this is back 2018, 2019, and he had to answer for what was going on here. And his answer is high school kids do stupid things. And furthermore, he says that even though he was part of this group of friends who, do this thing every year where there's underage drinking, which you can see there, and he acknowledged that, but they write on each other's faces, on their clothing. He didn't realize, we're told, that the markings at that point the photo was taken, that one of those markings was a swastika.
Right, and to be clear, the people that we spoke to close to him say that they're not saying until these were unearthed a couple days ago he didn't know, but at the time
right.
They were all drinking.
He's known since then.
Right,
but
for years now he's known about these, but they, the people close to him say he has been telling people that this is obviously inexcusable, and yes, he was young at the time, that doesn't obviously make it okay. It's interesting, there is a thread going around that I was sent this morning, and it's a mom in town where he went to school.
Mm-hmm. This is in a small town in Canada, in Western Canada.
In Canada, saying that this is common. These kids go, it's known they write slurs, they write, body parts that aren't necessarily
trying to be
appropriate.
Shocking.
Right, and it's a known thing that they do up there. Again, the people that we spoke to go back and just keep adamantly saying, listen, it's not, he doesn't say it's excusable, but it is what they did back then when he was young.
Hi, I'm Emma from Seattle. As a Jewish person, obviously this behavior really hurts to see, but honestly, it's not very surprising to me at this point. But yeah, that being said, I don't think that Hudson Williams is an anti-Semite. I don't think he was then, and I don't think he is now. And obviously, if someone drew this on his face without his consent, that itself is really vile and predatory and ignorant. And while as a Jewish person, I do personally forgive him, I think what's very upsetting to see is just the number of fans right now that are just trying to write this off as normal teen behavior, because it really isn't, and it's very upsetting to the Jewish community.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think what the people close to Hudson were saying to us is that it was normal that kids would do this. Not necessarily, they weren't excusing the fact that someone had written a swastika, because you're right, regardless of whatever custom these kids were into, when you take it to that level, it's a different thing.
Coming up.
Pretty surprising confession now from Bowen Yang, the comedian and actor who got very famous on SNL. But he's since left, and he was talking about his departure from SNL.
I was always kind of there as like the seasoning.
Be right back.
So a pretty surprising confession now from Bowen Yang, the comedian and actor who got very famous on SNL. Was, I thought, one of their standout cast members, but he's since left, and he was talking on Variety's Actors on Actors series about his departure from SNL, and this is what he had to say about his prominence on the show.
I think the show is in a great place without me. Like, I never felt like I was like that central to it, to be honest. Because I feel like
Disagree.
I feel like there was like a weird utility to me where I was like, okay, and I'm like, I've accepted this. It's like I never played like the dad or like the straight man teacher. Like I was always kind of there as like the seasoning.
I'm really. It is kind of sad. It almost.
But I
don't want to say it's not like he doesn't have
like
confidence.
Winning? Yeah.
But because to me, I thought that when Bowen Yang left, that was a huge loss for them.
I
He was
think a
one of
lot
the
of people
funniest
felt
people
the
on the
same.
cast.
Everyone thought he was like the standout star, the funniest person on the cast. And so it's so interesting the way like he feels versus how audiences perceive it. But I can understand what he's saying. He never really played like a big main character in a sketch. He was always like the button, the joke, the funny best friend.
Oh, I don't think
He played a Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah.
They had him playing like crazy stuff. He was like an emoji one time, I think. I don't know.
Yes, he did do those crazy things, but he also had. Anyway, I thought him being gone is a huge loss for the show. It's
For
interesting
sure.
that he doesn't think that it was a huge loss for them.
Yeah, lots of doors will open for you, Bowen.
Carmen Dowdell, Columbus, Georgia. Sometimes you have to know when to hold them and when to fold them. And unfortunately, some people will stay in positions because they are loved or because they are comfortable in that position. So I don't think it's anything wrong with him bowing out gracefully and doing what he loves and going out for his passion.
Yeah, I think I get why he wanted to leave to do other things, but to think that he was not a huge part of that cast is, I mean, I'll be honest, if you watch it now, it's just not as funny without him.
Coming up.
Well, the TMZ After Dark tour this weekend featured a couple of celebrities from the world of streaming, from reality, and really was kind of a great kickoff for Pride celebrations.
We had 2 buses, double the trouble.
Be right back.
Well, the TMZ After Dark tour this weekend featured a couple of celebrities from the world of streaming, from reality, and really was kind of a great kickoff for Pride celebrations.
It was the perfect Pride kickoff. We had 2 buses, double the trouble. One hosted by Bobby Lights, who's a reality TV legend, and honestly, he should replace Kathy Hilton for like now that she can't be the Grand Marshal. He should, because his hosting was amazing. His energy was amazing, and the DJ on the bus was also amazing. We've had her before, Coach West. You probably know her name by now because I love shouting her out.
Heard the name, definitely.
And then Erica was on the second bus, which was just as crazy.
Yeah, on the second bus, we had an awesome streamer, Nina Land, who live streamed the entire tour while she was on the bus. And we had influencer, musical artist, Javante Rose.
And this streamer, when she streamed it, it got 60,000 live views.
So it's a party on the bus. It's a party rolling around town.
Yes.
And it's a party for everybody who happens to be watching on a stream when that happens.
I think, by the way, in comparison, Clavicular, when he live streams going out, 40,000. So we got more streams, live views than a Clavicular night out.
Yeah.
So, Charles, that's impressive.
That is very impressive.
It was just a perfect kickoff to Pride. We went to the Rainbow Bar and Grill, specifically because Rainbow Bar and Grill.
Even though it's not named for that reason, but anyway.
Right.
It's not.
But yeah, you use what you got. You use what you got.
For the rest of the summer, people should get tickets because it's just getting bigger and better.
This summer's going to be the biggest, funnest summer yet.
You heard him.
Especially June. You know what month it is.
Yes, indeed. All right. What else do you guys want to talk about?
Hi, Rashida Kaba. Something that has the internet abuzz is the mayoral race in Los Angeles. Spencer Pratt kind of bringing that to national fame. He's one of those wealthy guys. He's not really experienced. He doesn't have the everyday experience of the Angelinos struggling with housing costs, homelessness, or even public safety concerns. And I think LA needs serious leadership, not reality TV drama. He did say, though, he would move out of LA if he did lose this race. And I know some people in the hills are going to be excited if he keeps that promise.
He did say he's going to leave. Rashida, before we let you go, I have to ask, is that a real Emmy on the shelf behind you?
Of course it is.
An Emmy
Emmy Award winner.
For?
It is for my series, Forgotten Souls of North Carolina's Black Cemeteries.
All right. Congratulations. One more.
Hi, my name is Tink Marche, and I'm here to talk about the Huda situation that just dropped, the surveillance that just dropped about Huda. And my personal opinion about that is that even though it appears that she may have gotten away with this, I honestly think that at some point she will be held accountable just based off her behavior. I do know that love will make you do crazy things, and I understand that, but at the same time, you can't continue to do the things that Huda has done over these past months. I think that she's obsessive, and I think that she also has no regard for anybody. I think that at some point we will see Huda at some point again in the news doing this very same thing, especially when it comes to relationships. I think she just needs to maybe seek some help.
Yeah, it is true that love makes you do crazy things, but hopefully she has learned they should not be criminal things.
Coming up.
Well, another Morgan Wallen concert and another piece of property damaged. Morgan Wallen saw something in the audience that really ticked him off, and he wasn't about to let it go.
Be right back.
Well, another Morgan Wallen concert and another piece of property damaged. It was not a piano this time, but Morgan Wallen saw something in the audience that really ticked him off, and he wasn't about to let it go. Well, he let it go. He grabbed it and then really let it go. All right. Well, you're not going to get that phone back. The phone, he grabbed it from a security guard. It's like he saw it and then walked back. He's like, wait a second, I'm not going to let that go. And grabs the phone, tosses it. Turns out the phone actually belonged to a fan who had handed it to the security guard, hoping they could get a better angle than the fan did. Well, now you have no angles. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't a piano. It's just a phone, right? They'll get over it if they have insurance. We'll see you tomorrow.